Killer, Crenshaw. Thank you for talking to True School Sports.
AKA Superstar, AKA TBO, AKA Rich and Famous, man. Mama, smile, I'm back on your cameras.
Down and give yourself up for somebody else.
EA Sports Fight Night 2004. Rated T.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, recently I was patrolling my feed on Instagram, and I saw that Eddie Hearn, your boy Eddie Hearn, he dropped a quote via the DAZN Instagram account, and he was talking about the idea of a new fight night game. Now, this isn't a new concept, and this is not the first time Eddie Hearn has talked about a new fight night video game and being behind a new fight night video game. You know, he talked about this a little bit in 2018, I believe it was 2018 and 2017. I did a video about that, so you guys can go check that out here if you haven't done so already. But I'll read you guys what he said, and we will in fact dissect from there. Here's what Eddie Hearn said. He said, I quote, "I've got this little fight night idea which I pitched to EA Sports, which is really interesting. It's not just a virtual game, it's much more complicated than that. I think the return of EA Sports Fight Night would be huge." Now, my main man, Eddie Hearn, you're going to be the real MVP if you follow through with this idea. As you guys saw in the picture before this video started, you know, there was a picture of Anthony Joshua, and then it said DAZN Fight Night. So if that is the case, and this is just some sort of teaser, then maybe we could expect a fight night game with only DAZN fighters. Now, I could see people's gripes with that because, like, if it's only DAZN fighters, then we can't play with Terrence Crawford in the game, which I'm sure a lot of people would love to play with Terrence Crawford in the game. You can't play with Errol Spence. You can't play with, you know, Deontay Wilder, you know, or anybody like that in the game. So, you know, I'm sure people will have their gripes, but it's still better than nothing. You know, there hasn't been a fight night game in well over a decade because EA Sports has decided that they want to make UFC and MMA games, which is cool, but come on, man. Everyone knows that in terms of combat sports video games, that fight night is much superior to the UFC games. No disrespect to the UFC games. I played them. They're fun, I guess, but it's not as fun as playing fight night. Like I remember I have friends who are MMA fans, and even they say, like, look, bro, Fight Night is better than UFC as far as video games go, because it is. And listen, this is coming from somebody. I barely play video games anymore, but when I do, you know, I'm trash as hell at video games. Like, and if you don't believe how trash I am at Fight Night, go check out my video that I did with my boy Hamid and Torre from when I was getting my ass routinely whipped playing Fight Night. I can't play Fight Night because I try to play Fight Night like it's an actual boxing game, like it's an actual fight, and that doesn't work, you know. So I got my ass whipped playing Fight Night with those guys. So check the videos up here if you want to see that. But I think it'd be a welcome addition to the sport. Like, it would be a welcome addition for boxing, because I think a big problem with boxing right now at this present moment is the fact that, and I'm talking about in terms of its popularity outside this little bubble we call the YouTube boxing community, because, you know, contrary to popular belief, there is a world that exists outside of YouTube. Ain't that crazy? But, you know, video games are probably the best way to market the sport, because a lot of times people who just play video games, they'll become fans of a sport or a team or an athlete just off a video game. I'll give you an example. I'm a big basketball fan. I love basketball. Big time NBA fan. Huge. And I used to play one of my favorite games when I used to play video games like all the time was NBA 2K. And I remember when I played NBA 2K, you know, if a player, it could be the most random, most miscellaneous player in the world, but if I was good with him in 2K, then I probably liked him in real life, and I became a fan of him in real life. And I know that's the case for people who play video games that don't watch boxing, that didn't have family that were boxing fans, and they become boxing fans through video games. I've heard, you know, I'll give you an example. My boy Juan Pablo, shout out to Juan Pablo. He's not like the biggest boxing fan. You know, he pays attention to it and he knows about it because he's been my boy since we were 6 years old, going all the way back to 2001. Juan Pablo, but he's not like a diehard boxing fan. But he'll tell you that he liked fighters like Miguel Cotto and Shane Mosley because he's played like the original Fight Nights when the Fight Night first came out. So I think video games are very important for the marketing aspect of the sport. Eddie Hearn understands that because Eddie Hearn is a businessman, and Eddie Hearn is ultimately trying to raise the profile, trying to find new ways to raise the profile of his fighters. And I'll tell you this: if somehow he gets that idea over the line, and EA Sports produces a DAZN Fight Night video game with only DAZN fighters, and it's the first Fight Night game they've had in a decade plus, I'm gonna tell you right now, DAZN fighters their popularity is going to triple and surpass every other promotional company in boxing. Because listen, not everybody watches boxing, but everybody plays video games. Just about everybody on planet Earth plays video games, so you're opening up the possibility to bring new fans to the sport of boxing. You know, people who wouldn't know who Devin Haney is normally, they'll know who Devin Haney is because of Fight Night, or Anthony Joshua, or even Roman Cholatito Gonzalez. So that's what it is, and I like the fact that he's trying to do that. I like the fact that he understands the younger crowd. I like the fact that he understands that this is a great way to market to the sport of to people outside of boxing, because a lot of times promoters, they get lazy. There's no like real marketing in boxing. So with that being said, I hope that if they make Fight Night like a DAZN Fight Night video game, I will actually go out and purchase a Xbox or whatever, and I'll play that thing religiously, because that was like one of my favorite games. Me and my boy Alex used to play that all the time. Shout out to Alex. And yeah, you know, as far as the roster of fighters they could put on there, I mean, you got some of the most marketable fighters in boxing. You got guys like Ryan Garcia, Anthony Joshua, Devin Haney. I mean, if you want to go to the smaller weight classes, you know, I'll tell you this: if they put Roman Cholatito Gonzalez in Fight Night, I'm buying it. That's how they'll get my money, if they put Roman Gonzalez in that game, because y'all already know how much I love Roman Gonzalez. He's my favorite fighter of all time. So the possibilities are endless. I mean, also Canelo, you got GGG, just so many fighters, great fighters on the zone, and they have the infrastructure, they have the roster, they have all those things in place that if they do make a strictly DAZN Fight Night video game via EA Sports and you know whatnot, that it will not only just be a good game, but a massively successful game, a mega hit, because there hasn't been a boxing game since 2010 or 11, something like that. Because EA Sports decided they wanted to make UFC games and whatnot. So that's the news. Eddie Hearn throwing out the idea once again, because he did it 2 years ago and I made a video about it. Nothing came of it. Nothing has come of it back then. So I'm making a video about it again to raise attention to it and see what people got to say in the comments down below. Now, before I end the video, what I want you guys to do is go in the comments and tell me, if they make a DAZN Fight Night game, which DAZN fighter would you look forward to playing with the most? Who would you be wrecking people in the video game with? For me, it's not even a contest. You know who it'll be. It'll be Roman Cholatito Gonzalez. So leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.
Denise Estrada, and you're watching True School Sports.
All right, thank you.